Remember to download both the Barn Burner and Zingo TV app in the respective app store on iOS and Android. And for Zingo TV, they're also available on Roku Sticks, Amazon Fire TV Sticks, Google Chromecast, and all smart TVs 2016 forward. It's free. Download it today. Welcome to the Wrestling Show. Sans Giancarlo Lino. He's got another assignment to do. He's doing covering Bellator, but I got the world famous. Yes, look, you're a worldwide TV. I'm like some guy in a bowling alley or whatever. Come on, you're in worldwide TV here.
Yeah.
It's world famous referee Daniel Spencer. Daniel was a big time. How many referees were in Bound for Glory?
Two.
Two. So you and somebody else.
Me and Brandon Toe. Right. Brandon Toe.
So there were 7, 8 matches. And how many did you do?
3.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So now take us through everybody's, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, now Impact Wrestling. When you have like Bound for Glories, they're arguably their WrestleMania.
Right. Yeah.
Now without fans and all that, but was there a different feeling to this pay-per-view?
Yeah, there was, because this was, this was basically set up as if it was a, big event, which it was. You had everyone was dressed up to the nines showing up. Everyone was in their suit and ties and dresses, and of course I was. Of course, there's a picture out there.
Wait, all I see is a black sleeve. Okay, we'll touch
on. No. There's a picture out there of me dressed up in nice suit and tie and nice lime green shirt with a nice green tie. Yeah, I mean, I was all.
Wait a minute. Sami Callihan was dressed in a suit.
Sami Callihan was dressed up. Yes, let's put it that way.
Wow, yeah. Dressed up. Yeah, maybe he wore a ripped shirt instead of a. Never mind. All right. So, Bound for Glory. For people who don't know, they inducted Ken Shamrock into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame, but they had throughout the night. Mick Foley was there, or basically said, congratulations, Bret the Hitman Hart Canadian. But some guy, the candy ass, jabroni, I don't know, remember his name. Can you tell?
I think he's like the biggest star in the world. Let's see, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, yeah, I heard of him once or twice. Yeah. So Dwayne The Rock Johnson cutting a promo on Ken Shamrock. First of all, did you guys see that promo before Bound for Glory, or did everybody backstage pop? Oh my God, The Rock!
Well, everyone knew that it was done, and so there's a few people that got to see it beforehand, but for the most part, probably 80% of everyone watched it when it happened live. So.
And how does that feel, considering you're a fan, okay? You're a referee, but you're a fan. Everybody's a fan, okay? And watching, The Rock, come on your I'm going to say Impact Wrestling, your programming, and just basically induct Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, for sure, just to be a part of that, to see that induction happen, to be part of where The Rock was there. And to say that I worked on a show at the same show that The Rock was on. I mean, whether he was there in person or not, it doesn't matter. I was still part of a show that did that. It was pretty cool. And I was definitely excited, to say the least. So yeah, it was just one of those cool things, for sure.
All right, so Impact Wrestling, we'll touch on the WrestleMania Bound for Glory and all that, but Impact Wrestling starting to turn the corner once again, okay? They're starting to turn the corner. You got WWE, AEW, well, they're number 3, maybe behind NWA or whatever. But go ahead. How do you think they can be a major player in the wrestling game again?
So it's they're we Impact, we're on the up and up. I think what the big LG Doc Gallows said on Talking Shop Full Keg, that was a special.
Swipe the never mind.
That was a special that aired on the last Tuesday leading up to Bound for Glory, after Impact on Access. it basically stated, he said, don't if you've been sleeping on Impact, you better wake up, which is true. And it was the same concept I've made before. Like, hey, don't be sleeping. If you've been sleeping on Impact, now's the time to wake up because you're going to pass you by. And that's the thing with the transit with the acquisitions that happen after Slammiversary, or at Slammiversary, I should say, and so on. Keep going forward. It's just an amazing to me, and I get it. I work for them, so I might be a little biased, but at the same time, I'm a fan, and I watch a lot of other wrestling shows. It is putting out the best product on TV there is today. It top bar none, from the backstage stuff to the in-ring stuff. It's just amazing at what they've been able to put out there. And other ones had their segments and moments that are great, but top to bottom, there's always like top to bottom. Impact has delivered every single week, and this is before Slammiversary. This is back in the last year, but it's just getting better and better. And just where the company's going, I'm so excited and honored just to be a part of that.
All right. So before we touch on Tuesday, because you'll give us a recap of the Impact Wrestling that happened on Tuesday, let's talk about Bound for Glory. The first match, some referee was refereeing that match, right? On the pay-per-view. There's some referee. By the way, okay, now I'm gonna say this, okay? Not only are we good friends, okay, but you and take a back seat. I'm doing a promo here. Anybody watching this, and why wouldn't you watch the Barn Burner TV network here on Zingo TV channel 250? Anybody watching this is the best referee there is to date. The best referee there is to date, and he has something that no referee has in the world. Okay, we'll touch on that in a second. But your counts are on point. Like I told you before off air, I'm watching these shows. And I'm not even watching the matches. I'm watching you refereeing. Like, you got me so screwed up. I'm watching you instead of the matches. All right? Honestly, and I can't say anything bad about your cadence when you count. I could say when you start, like you're in a football stance there. So that's unusual, but you're ready. And you took a bump, and a good bump. I got to say that. Okay, you took a good bump. So not only tell the fans, just in case they don't know who Daniel Spencer is, you were on Raw and you take bumps for a living.
I have yes, I have taken bumps both on Raw and SmackDown in the past, being a WB extra talent there. And I've done many bumps and before as a referee. Currently I'm also at OVW, so I've done bumps there. I've done bumps on other indie shows in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I guess there's only been one time where they've asked, where a bump has been talked about. It's like, no, I don't think that makes sense. Let's go this direction. It's not that I didn't want to do it. I just think it literally didn't make sense. They were wanting something cool and crazy, and that was like an indie show. And like I said, and that because. And that was the good thing about the training that I've done under Al Snow and other people, that I can say the psychology wise is, why do that bump just because you can get these 50 people in the crowd to pop? I mean, that for a moment, like, but think logically, why would we do that bump? And then they kind of, okay. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool, and I appreciate the compliment. I mean, I it almost makes you think I'm not doing my job if you're watching me and not the wrestlers. But I get what you're saying, though. You don't mean it as if you just know, because you know who I am and all that. So I get that. But
like in every wrestling match, if you're a fan of, or if you know Santino Marella personally, or Aaron Stevens personally, I'm watching. I want him to win, but I don't really. It doesn't matter the outcome. I want to see what he's doing or whatever. We became very, very good friends. I'm like,
yeah,
he's like family now, right? And you're
right.
you're like family also. So as a referee, it's kind of you're watching the match, but you're more watching a referee, right? So that's you're not a wrestler, you're a referee. So I got to watch out more for the refereeing. And
my fiance says she likes to watch me more in the ring, so I think she has a different reason. At least I hope so.
Well, maybe I gotta ask her what's the never mind. But or what's the biggest here? That's a leads me to another question here. What is the biggest critique that she tells you when she's watching you in the ring? Does she watch you as being a referee, or oh my God, you took a big bump, or you were slow here, or you screwed up there?
You know what? She's never really, believe it or not, she's never really given me critiques on anything because I think for the most part, usually I'm more hard on myself. So if I think something was wrong, she's more of a no, it was fine. What are you talking about? More of a
Positive.
positive, lifting me up kind of thing that I'm overthinking things. Because I am, we all have our, our biggest critics, I guess, is what is what we all, what we say. I constantly, one of the things I do and is I watch myself, and I don't mean that in a vain way at all. Like I legit like go back after every match when I see it. I watch even when I'm in the ring and I know that man I could have done this better. I go back and watch it so I can see. Yes, okay, now I see what I did there, this and that. And I've been doing that. Luckily, my career has been kind of captured on a form of television somewhat, whether it's locally here in Louisville, Kentucky at OVW, whether it's on YouTube in matches, something like things like that, or national TV through Access TV with an Impact, or even OVW, who's on some national platforms as well. So
Also on
it's
Zingo, they're on Zingo. OVW is on Zingo. Also, I got to mention that, right? So,
OVW's everywhere, man. Yes, and so that's the thing. So like and like I said, I appreciate the compliment. I feel like I'm nowhere near where I want to be even yet. And as far as the referee, there's people that I watch up in New York, and New York as we call that WBE, that I think are the best, and watched them a lot, and try to make my own way, not copy it, but see what they do. Okay, how can I do that? And plus, I've reached out many times to Jimmy Cordeas, who I think is probably one of the best just
I'm surprised that
guys.
you guys, Impact Wrestling, never reached like when I look at AEW, they brought out the guy the, Mike the he got released.
Mike Kyoto.
Mike Chioda, thank
Yeah.
you. Mike Chioda, and he's a mentor now in AEW also. They had, um, Impact Wrestling should have a mentor there, and
Mm-hmm.
like you already established, there's only two referees in an organization as big as Impact or these other leagues. They got way more than two referees, so the onus and that is actually a big thing to you because they're trusting you. There's eight,
Mm-hmm.
7, 8, 10 matches on a card. They're trusting you to give you half the matches to you and half the matches to the other person. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big, thank you and trust in you.
Yeah, absolutely, and I appreciate them having the trust and the confidence in me and this position. I mean, there's one thing that I love being a referee, and I don't take anything for granted. So, when Impact reached out to me to see if I was able to come, and I thought it was. I jumped on it, whether it was a one-time shot or a two-time shot or whatever, and it's turned into this run. And I think, and believe it or not, came in the same time David Pinzer did, who came back as a ring announcer, and we both kind of have the same story. Like we're just happy to be here, and let's just keep going, and we all and crazy enough, the pandemic kind of helped us both in that era. Not that I wouldn't, if the pandemic wasn't around, I was still planning on doing things with Impact and already had that enrolled. But who knows if I would have been in the position I'm in right now. So I'm really blessed and honored that an opportunity came, and I feel like me personally, I've the door open and I've walked right through it and kept going. So
So
um,
have they signed you? You talk about big contracts to big nine players or wrestlers or whatever from WWE. But the number one question that I want to know, honestly, has Impact Wrestling signed you to an exclusive deal? Yes or no?
I have an agreement with Impact. Now I wouldn't call it. Some people call it a contract because I think they've only in their history in the last since the new ownership, they have only had one referee on contract, and that's the other ref, Brandon Toa. All the other refs beforehand, even the ones they used for years, the same ones they've used, they've had a working agreement with them, and I have a working agreement with Impact, and that's it. And that's all. And I'm fine with that. I'm okay if they come with me, and if they come with me the contract, I'll sign the contract. I'll be exclusive. I'm not going anywhere else. I mean, I'm with OVW. I'm with Impact. They Impact and OVW has a partnership. If something else was to be offered to me, I would look into that, but I would also, out of respect, say, hey, this is what's going on, but what do you think? And then I wouldn't go anywhere. And right now, I'm happy where I'm at for sure.
Well, now you say you look back at tapes or
Mhm.
DVDs of your performance. Now, take me through, let's say in the last 2 years, okay? Because you got noticed, as an extra last, let's say 2 years or whatever.
Mhm.
From 2 years to now, what would you say is your biggest improvement? Because I'm talking to a referee here.
Mm.
People don't understand that you are the heartbeat of a match. They
Yeah.
could have an amazing match, but if the referee has bad timing or is not in the right place, the match goes nowhere. So the referee is a people don't understand it. Yes, wrestling scripted. I'm not gonna say fake or whatever, but there's three elements. There's the wrestlers, be it a tag team, be it one on one, and the referee, because the referee plays a big part in any successful or unsuccessful match. Because the referee got hit or he got injured or whatever. There are injuries, I don't need to tell you, in wrestling. So the referee plays a big part in the match.
Man, that's a good question. I mean, there's really so much. I don't know what to label my biggest. I can just label a few things, but my cadence, that's one thing that I worked on. And I'm constantly changing, working things all the time, but cadence, way to communicate. One of the things about being a team, there's only so many people. It takes a lot to be a good referee, but then you have to then you referee, and then you have to work the TV referee system. It's still two different
The
versions.
timing.
Yeah, so learning that, and I have to give all credit to Al Snow and his leadership on there, is learning how to communicate that when it comes to TV timing and
So
TV.
tell everybody who is listening and watching, what do you mean by that? Because people, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say
Yeah.
this. I put you over once again. So it's a put over Daniel Spencer Day, but people don't understand what it takes for a referee to be in a match. Okay, you have to have the timing down. Boom, pat. Like I don't have to tell you. I don't. I'm going to say it. Hogan and Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3. That was a 3 count. Okay, but they said it was a 2 count. When he picked him up and then Andre fell on it, it was actually a 3 count, and Andre was looking around, Heenan was looking around, because that was sort of a miscue by the referees. So the timing of the referee, and you have to know where the camera is and position yourself and everything. People don't understand it. They go to the match and
Yeah.
they don't look at the referee. The referee is as a big a part of a match as the wrestlers are.
Yeah, and that's a good one too. Is that the cameras, staying out of the way of the cameras, knowing where the cameras are, making sure you're not getting in the camera angles. Which there's a science to that, and a trick to that you've got to learn, and it's unnatural, at times. So especially if you've been from the indies, where it doesn't. And I still, when I'm in an indie show with no cameras or no what, I still operate. I pick a side that this is my hard cam, and I treat it like that and stay in certain positions. And it's kind of it's and when I train referees or talk to them and give them feedback or however you want to call it, I'm using that same advice, like, do that wherever you're at, pretend you're on TV wherever you're at. But one of the things that one of the things of our assignment, I won't pull back the curtain too much, but we'll say that the TV show is a 2 hour, 3 hour, whatever it may be, and each person's getting a certain amount of time. Even in indie shows, they're getting a certain amount of time to be out there in the ring. So you kind of have to, like, let them know, kind of guide them where they're at as far as TV and what they need to do. and where we need to go, especially if it's a main event, the live TV and the feed is about to go off, and you got 5 minutes left to the feed, or the live show goes off, or the TV show ends, or whatever you want to call it. They got to know that, especially if there's something that needs to be done. So, and that's one of the referees' jobs to maintain and make sure they communicate that. Um, but yeah, I mean, actually recently, um, I look back. There was a show that Impact did in OVWs when the re-announce of the partnership came back in March of 2019. They did a show at the Davis Arena, and I got to referee a couple of matches. And one of the matches I refereed was at Justin Smooth. It was an OVW guy versus Brian Cage, who was signed with Impact at the time. And during the pandemic, when we wasn't running at OVW, we were showing all these matches, like kind of like the best of in the last couple of years. We showed that match on TV. I was like, let me watch it. So I sit down and watch it. Now I know I've already watched it a year before and went over and learned, took notes and changed some things. But I watched him and I literally go, oh my gosh, that was terrible. Now I wasn't terrible because obviously I was on TV and I was doing fine. But based on where I was at today at that time, which I guess was like right before Slammiversary, because we was going to head to that. So I was thinking, I remember going, I'm going to go to Slammiversary. There's no way that kid right there refereeing would have been able to referee at Slammiversary. So it's just amazing to see like those things that I would take and learn and grow. And every week, I remember every week I would change up and do something different to make myself better. So, and that's just a short period of time, but I was happy and proud that I was able to, to accomplish that and do that. So yeah, it's important to be able to, and like I said, not many people have the ability to do that. I'm the head referee at OVW. I got that label given to me in the last little bit, and we bringing in rest for tryouts and things over the last few weeks, and we sit down and I feedback, give them critiques, and tell them things, and that's one of the things I say. I'll say, hey, I'm gonna send you some advice. I'm gonna send you, when you get the video goes on YouTube or whatever it may be. I'll send you the match, these other tips. Watch it. Watch when I tell you this or say this. Watch it, and let's talk to Al, talk to whoever. Get their tips as well. But go back and watch it yourself. And a lot of those guys work a lot of matches. They're not able to go back and watch it, or if they are, they're watching it from a camera all the way up in the stand, sitting down, and they're not able to see the side cams pick up every little detail. So it's like this allows you to like really see, because the focus is on you, not seeing fans happen to walk across, and you're like, oh, I missed that, what I did there. So it's important, and I think it helped me tremendously, and I know it would help all the other refs too as well. And I don't know what WB does. I don't know how their system is. I'm assuming they do the same, watch tape and all that kind of stuff. It's just nothing but like a football player watching, a basketball player watching tape, and getting ready for the next match or next whatever they got to do. It's the same. Wrestlers need to do the same thing. Watch yourself, watch tape, learn, grow, watch old matches. I watch old Tommy Young. I watch old, Charles Robinson. I go back and watch things and make myself better as well. There's nothing wrong with it, and I encourage that.
So now let me ask you a question that people now with the pandemic, with no fans, is it different for you as a referee? Because the wrestlers, again, I'm not lifting up the curtain a lot, but they talk to each other. Okay, elbow, like slowly. You know what I mean? And is it different for you knowing that there's nobody, but the TV is catching everything? So do you have to say, okay, Sally, 2 minutes left, or like, you know what I mean? So, uh, is it an adjustment for you?
Yeah, no. I mean, I've done a lot of, the reason why I say that is because we've all done matches where there's no fans, where we're in a training facility and
Yeah,
done
yeah.
stuff, and we treat it as if there are fans there, because that's the kind of the whole concept. So we've kind of been there, done that. But at the most part, at the same time, having those fans there does build you adrenaline. Even as a ref, I mean, you get pumped, you feed off that emotion. Whether it's booing, whether it's cheering, they're booing you or getting mad because you missed something, or or they're counting 1, 2, 3 with you while you're doing that. Those things are definitely cool, and definitely miss that. As far as the communication, I mean, yes, you've got to be a little careful, especially there's no noise. You got to, and then you've got to learn how to. But it's the same way with fans too, because you still don't want them to hear you tell somebody, you know, mm, go home or whatever, or go through 2 minutes left. You definitely want to um, keep it low, but then be loud when you need to be loud. So there's a science to it, and again, that's one of those things that once you start getting into, and this is what somebody came in the other day last week at OVW. They've refereed for a long time, and they're actually a really good ref. They're older gentlemen refereeing down at Ricky Morton's school and promotion, and came in, always wanted to come to OVW, always wanted to work some TV. Came in, and he's a great ref. He just does no TV, but I was able to tell him enough things to get him going, and then help him with feedback and help him with this. And then we were talking with Al, and I said, he's like, I love this. I want to do this more. I want to do more TV, but I just had an opportunity. I said, well, the only way for you to learn TV is to do TV. Like that's the only way you're going to learn. I mean, I can tell you, you can read, I can give you a book and you can read everything to do, but till you go out there, it's not gonna, not going to change. That's the only way you're going to learn and change. So that's it, man. And there's times, I'm sure there's many refs that's come through the WB system, impact system, or whatever, that's come through that's not been cut out for it. But that doesn't mean that they don't need to stop. It's just, we'll pull you off TV. We'll work on you a little bit, or we'll put you on a different spot. Maybe refereeing on TV is not your thing, but maybe being a timekeeper is, or something like that, so you never know.
So I got two questions here. Uh, as you know, backstage, the wrestlers look at their sheet. Okay, they're matched up against whoever, right? Now, are you told before or the day of, okay, you're going to referee this match? And as the referee, do you meet these guys before or like days before or like half an hour before their match and say, okay, what's the finish? What's, you know what I mean?
The only time I've ever known a month ahead of time or a week ahead of time or anything that I'm doing a match was when I was involved in an angle. It was like an indie show that ran once a month. And there was a segment where as the ref, turned on the good guys. However, it was a swerve because I ended up turning back on them. I was pretending to be on their side to help the company. So that was the only time I knew that I was going to referee that match and knew the outcome and knew all that way ahead of time. I've never any other time it's usually that day. And sometimes I've even found out at literally, 10 minutes before, or it's been, hey, this match changed, by the way, we need you to ref it, or, we're going to do this. Okay. And then I just do it. I don't even know what the finish is. Just go out there and do it. And I treat it like a shoot. And that was one of the trainings I taught. So if I'm counting, and I've done this many times, well, not many, I say a few times, I have counted the three and the person did not kick out. I've also disqualified somebody when I wasn't supposed to see it, but I saw it. So sorry, ring the bell.
Right.
And that's where a lot of times, and people say, well, shouldn't that be, the, and you see a lot of times for referee, and there's ways where sometimes I have seen things and I can reprimand in the right way, but there's also some certain things you cannot reprimand. You've got to do what you've got to do. And whoever's responsibility it was to make sure I was distracted or make sure they kicked out or whatever, that's on them, not on me. And that's Al has that philosophy when it comes to, I know Scott Demore does in Impact as well. So does Vince McMahon. The refs are need to be the authority. The refs need to be it. And if it's on, when there's certain things that are the refs' fault, and certain things when it's not. And the main thing you need to know is that um, everyone knows when it's a ref situation. You never know when it's a non-ref situation because the ref does his job. So there's been many times at WB I've heard many stories where, and I've looked back going, huh, that was straight up the refs counted because the guy didn't do this. And but I would have never known that. I would have thought it was part of the angle. That was the story, the way it was going to go. So the kudos to all those refs. And there's unfortunately been a few that I've seen in all companies, and I've even goofed up at times where, you've had a botch or you had a goof up, and, and you've and that's just growing pains. You know, you sometimes we all make mistakes, right? They put an eraser at the end of a pencil for a reason, but it's just learning from them and going on. So,
Right.
absolutely.
All right. So now, when you started, there were probably one lady referee, let alone now in WWE, they have like probably three ladies referees. Okay.
Two I know for sure. One in NXT and one on SmackDown. I don't know, but
They
maybe they
have
might have a third.
two in NXT. They have two in NXT.
Oh, they have two in NXT. Okay, okay.
And now one in SmackDown, and I think they're gonna have one on Raw. But, anyways, there's influx of ladies referees. How good of is that to see? Because I'm saying this because honestly, a small plug. We last week we started the H.E.R network
Hmm.
on all ladies TV network and all that, and ladies have the right to do anything. They could play
Yeah.
sports, they could referee, they could do so. When you're in the back, I know Impact has two males, but looking at the impact of ladies referees, it's actually when people watch them, the best thing. I don't have to tell you, you don't even notice it's a ref or lady referee.
So, I actually work closely with a lady ref at OVW. Her name's Charlene. Give her a shout out here. Charlene has been with OVW for quite a few years. Actually, she was pretty much one of the first lady refs out there. I mean, there might have been a few other ones, but she was the first few that were out there. And she's and so I love Charlene. And yeah, she, I'm I want her to be just as authoritative, just as good, just as great as anybody else. I want her to see. I would love to see her in WWE or Impact or even AEW. I mean, that would that's great. And we've had a couple other referees recently, women who've come aboard, and I think because of what AEW has done and WWE has done, more women are like, I could do this as well. Yeah, why not? I mean, there's go out there and do that. And and there's I believe in 5 years from now you're going to see probably a very diverse group of referees. I mean, WB has different not only men and women, but they also have different races in there too, and different cultures. And I think I can see AW doing that. I can see Impact doing that too as well. You mentioned we're the only two referees. I think the goal eventually is, especially as we grow, is to add more to the team. And whether I'll be a part of that or not, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. But I'm gonna do everything on my part to make sure I'm a part of that for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's in OVW. We same way. I mean, we're gonna have 10 to 12 different reps on our group, so because we're gonna have a rolling rotation. That's the plan. That's kind of what I'm kind of doing right now. And then OVW's tied to the Arsenal Wrestling Academy, who has places in Denver, Colorado, or Rocky Mountain Pro, and um, um, uh, devotional. I think it's called Devotional Championship Wrestling in Salt Lake City. We have Rocket Wrestling in Alabama, and all these. And then now over in Middle Eastern, we've signed a deal with them over there to be part of the school. So we're going to have many different refs in our system that we can rotate and travel. And you go here, okay, well, you're closer. You're closer to Denver, so the Denver reps go, or that's kind of the future of where we're going at the OVW side. And I can see that being something that may roll over to the Impact, whether we have two or three that are like the main travel, and then when we come to areas that we need, okay, we'll bring in a ref that we kind of work in our system to pull on board, which is kind of what they've done in the past, before.
So here's a
So
question that I've never asked you. Okay,
yeah,
if and I'll use a wrestling term. If I gave you the book and any wrestler in the world, which match would you like to be the main referee for?
I
Anybody?
would. Yeah, well, for honestly, like that's why I mentioned earlier when we started the show about being on the same show with him. I would love to referee the Rock. That right there would be it. I don't even care who his opponent is. I don't even care if it's a 1 minute match. I don't care if it's a 20-minute match. I would love to have the opportunity to be referee the Rock. That's it. That's my like, because I was being a big huge fan of him growing up and used to impersonate him in my high school, and I still get called the Rock to this day from people that I went to high school with. It's crazy, but for what I used to the impersonation I should do and stuff. But I would love to, that's been my, and I think everything he touches is gold anyways. I mean, you can just see it. So that's somebody right there that I would probably, mark out for, like go nuts for if I had an opportunity. There's many other ones that'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if one day I ever got to work for Jericho. That means Jericho would either have to come to Impact, or we both would have to go to WWE, or I don't know, whatever. But I would love to. It'd be cool to work a Jericho match. But if I never got to, I'm okay with that. And it would have been cool to work with someone like a Shawn Michaels or Kurt Angle and guys that even Triple H. But for the most part, straight up, if I just name one person, it's The Rock.
So we mentioned at the beginning of this that you wear the sleeve.
Yeah.
You're the only wrestler, or I shouldn't say referee to wear the sleeve. Now, I already know why, but do you care to share why? And is that now your trademark? Like, The Rock had the people's elbow, the elbow pad, and all that. You can market that as being the only guy, referee, who has that. That's unique.
Well, I do kind of market. I do have T-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com where it says arm sleeve zebra, and it has the zebra with an arm sleeve on it, like a cartoon zebra. So yeah, and you can ProWrestlingTees.com/Daniel Spencer. But anyways, so yeah, I the reason why I wear it is I have tattoos. This one's easy to cover up, but I have a longer one on this shirt that um, that it's hard to cover up. Now I have there's other referees in the past that you've had makeup, and I have dabbled in that. I just it's something that I'm kind of working on, but and I'm hopefully one day maybe I can get to down to a science where I don't need the arm sleeve, and if that's the case, I'm okay with not with going without it. But it has become a thing ever since March of this year when I went with Impact, and that was and so I just I figured if I'm wearing it here, I might as well just keep wearing it from now on. So I wear it now at OVW, and I wear it even if I do an indie show where there's no TV, I put it on because that's who I am. And there was other referees that had their thing, like Brian Hebner wore the little wristband here. You had Slick Johnson wore the shorts, which I don't recommend shorts, but he wore the shorts, and that was his thing. Um, yeah, you have a lot, and like I said, you have a lot of people that's done. Brian Hebner also had the blue around his shoes too, the Nikes too. So I mean, and there was nothing wrong, and and one thing about those guys that did that is that they didn't take away. The whole point is not to become a gimmick and not to become not to draw attention. The reason why I wear that is not to draw attention. I've had people say, I think it makes me pay attention more for a minute. Well, it makes you wonder why he's wearing it, but then you're not. That's it. You're not. If I had a tattoo, if you read my tattoo, you would be going, what does it say? And you're focusing really on the tattoo. You just look at the arm sleeve and go, oh, let's notice the arm sleeve, and that's it. That's all you. And you
Did
moved on.
somebody actually tell you to wear an arm sleeve? Like when it first started, was somebody saying, "Oh, we got to cover that up"?
It was suggested that I covered up. Yes. So and I'm okay. And once again, I'm totally okay. It was also I if you notice, it's kind of growing out a little bit. But one of the things too is I always wore a beard even when I worked
Yeah,
other stuff too. That's one of the old school one of the old school things of a referee. You'll see it a lot in WWE. Every once in a while they'll cross that line a little bit. But you'll definitely see WB is, but in Impact is that no beards. That's a shave, keep clean shave. You don't draw any attention to that. AEW does go back and forth. Some of the guys do, some of the guys don't. It is what it is.
yeah.
It's whatever the company wants. You know what I mean? Like if I go to a company and they say, oh, you don't need an arm sleeve and you don't need that, well, then I may not do that. But then again, I may keep doing it. I don't know. It's one of those things. I believe 10 years from now, we probably, we're all where the world is. Who knows? Everybody in the world might have so many tattoos and so many beards and so many different looks and ways that, it's one of those where it's not even, it's almost anymore when you go places like wearing used to be people would dress up to go to the bank, and then they quit dressing up to go to the bank. People nowadays go to a wedding, they always dress up to go to a wedding. Now you go to a wedding, everyone's in jeans. So I mean, it's just one of those that society has constantly revealed that there's always going to be those hardcore, I don't know if you want to use the words conservative, but hardcore people that have this certain look like a Vince McMahon, dress up all the time to the nines every day, wear the, or and then there's going to be those people that are, a little more lenient, a little more laid back. So it is what it is. And as long as you treat people right, do the right thing, be what you want to be on that. And if you work for that person, you do what they want you to do. And that's it. So if I work for Vince and Vince wants me to do that, that's it. If I work for Scott, Scott wants me to do that. If I work for Tony Khan, work for Al Snow, whoever it is, and they're telling me this is what you want me to do, that's what I'm going to do.
So a couple more questions before we close out here. The wrestling show here on the Barn Burner TV Network, Single TV, channel 250 with Daniel Spencer, world famous referee. What is left for you to accomplish? What is your end goal? Like, I know you wanted. If I gave you the Rock match, do you retire tomorrow?
I could, I could be happy. I guess I think everybody, and this is not a knock on where I'm at, but everybody knows WWE is the WWE's here and everyone else is down here. We all know that, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. I mean, I think if my goal is not to one day referee in WrestleMania, then what am I doing this for? Just like a wrestler, if a wrestler doesn't want to ever wrestle in WrestleMania, then what the heck are you wrestling for? Like if that's not your goal, then you have nothing to push towards. So I would love to win. That's that, and again, if I refereed at WrestleMania and they said, all right, you're done. Okay. I've done everything that I wanted. Now I still love refereeing and I still love the business. So I'll still be involved. And I might even, I refereed. I don't have to focus on getting there anymore. Now I can go back to Impact and do this or whatever, or even stay in WB and do something else. That's the thing. But that would be, I just think if you don't have that go, you're silly. But I'm happy where I'm at too. It's so weird. It's like a weird thing. It's like if I never made it there, as long as I'm growing and doing things here, I'm totally okay because I'm still pushing towards that
Yeah.
and I'm still succeeding. And that's the thing too. It's just being successful and succeeding and growing who I am as a person, who I am professionally, and then going on from there. So yeah.
All right, so we'll close it out with a look back at Impact Wrestling's WrestleMania Bound for Glory. We had title changes. We had somebody was scheduled to be fighting, did not show up. Let's start off there, Kylie Ray. What's the latest you hear from that situation?
All I know and is that she I believe there's some kind of an injury that happened. So it was best interest for everyone involved not to be involved in the match, and they decided to replace with Su Young. So I think it was a right decision as far as that goes. I mean, I know I'm company, I'm biased, but at the same time, I think they made the right move. There's a lot of things out there. Honestly, that's all I know is that it was and there was another, there's other people that were, there's other injuries. Impact does that well, and I think WB does that. OVW does that. If someone's having an injury, um, something's good going on, it's not right for them to put themselves out there
Yeah.
in the match. To put them at risk, their opponent at risk, the referee at risk, anyone else, it's safe to kind of, hey, let's step this back. And I think that was ultimately why that decision was made. What the injury is, what's going on, what the other stuff is involved. It's honestly, it's none of my business. It is what it is. The company made the decision. Everything was okay. Everything was finalized, and we went on and still had a killer match and killer show.
Sue Young winning the belt there also. Now, you refereed the co-main event, okay? Co-main event, we mentioned The Rock and Shamrock, you know, was a pretty good match. Ken Shamrock, wrestling still like he can go, right? I think it was 12 minutes. How long was it? 12, 13 minutes. So it looked like
Sounds about right.
yeah, it looked like he still could go. He won. And then we had a new heavyweight champion crowned. About time. A lot of guys look at this guy and he should have been crowned long time ago. Rich Swan there. Rich Swan really deserves the title, although
Yeah.
Eric Young is Canadian. Okay, so even though now he says he's Nashville or whatever, come on, he's Canadian, a good Canadian boy, eh? You like that? All right. So Rich Swann, I'm not saying give away anything here. I know you're a referee. You may have insider knowledge or whatever. Where do you see Rich Swann going or feuding with? Where do you see Eric Young now?
I think this past week they still, Eric Young got his rematch, and Rich Swann was able to overcome and keep the title. I think as far as Rich Swann goes, I see him kind of, moving on to someone else, kind of the way it looks. Who knows? Maybe Eric might be involved a little bit. He does have a tag team match coming up this week. Rich Swann's teaming up with Eddie Edwards to take on Sami Callihan and Eric Young, with Ken Shamrock there as well. So, he's still kind of involved a little bit, but I think eventually, I depending on what happens in that match will determine their path for sure. I wouldn't mind seeing, I wouldn't mind seeing them keep feuding. I also wouldn't mind seeing them both go separate ways. So I think Eric Young is a very, 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 very talented individual. And it's a shame that, he never had success in the main roster. He did in NXT, but not in the main roster, because I think, and only because they just missed out on the opportunity of using him the right way. Such a great guy. Yeah, he is Canadian. But he's also just one of the most talented individuals out there. Same in Rich Swann too. It's just, I love that he's got this opportunity. I think he's owning it, and I think I'm hoping they'll stay on him for quite some time. Yeah, so we'll see. It all depends on what happens this Tuesday on TV.
Somebody got shot this Tuesday.
This past Tuesday, yes. So the wedding happened between Rosemary and Bravo, and all of a sudden at the end, right before they did their final kiss, and they were, it was a big bang, and Bravo was shot. So
Tommy Dreamer was screaming, and I feel bad for Tommy Dreamer, man. He was heartbroken.
Well, I mean, it's shocking because, Bravo's not been the nicest guy. If you notice on TV for the last month, 2 months leading up to this wedding, he's been kind of a groomzilla, so to speak, and a lot of people in that room, not happy with Bravo. So it's going to be interesting to find out. Obviously, we want to make sure he's okay, but it's going to be interesting to find out who shot Bravo, and see where that leads. And I'm just, look, I'm shocked, because even though the referee was out there, and we went on Twitter, and I said to Brandon, I was like, somebody said he was a suspect. I said, you didn't do this, did you? And he said no. So I'm hoping that that's not the case. I want to trust him and believe him. He's a colleague, and I believe that if he says no, he didn't do it. But it did kind of scare me.
I should be looking, if he didn't do it, should I be looking at you?
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I was not at the wedding.
It is that you say you say you had pictures dressed up in a suit. You changed referee outfit to suit, and look, a suit gets you to the.
You can go on TV and look. I was not there, so I literally have an alibi. I was not there. I was somewhere else. And
where were you? Where were you?
I was in production.
Production? Were you? Didn't the big production? You heard a big bang. You heard were you?
Yeah, we're all right there looking. We all had lights on where we were.
I need to investigate this. I'm gonna call my buddy Scott Demore, because look, I'm looking straight at you. You're acting very nonchalant here. Bravo, man. Bravo is a good friend of mine.
He was a good friend of mine. I know.
What do you mean he was a good friend? Why, he's dead?
I don't know. I have not heard. I've been reaching out.
Yeah. See, you're laughing about this. This is not. Look. See,
I reached out to Bravo, no response. I reached out to his.
Well, if you're gonna shoot a guy, of course he's not gonna be responding. Come on.
I had no reason. Why would I have a reason to shoot Bravo? I love Bravo.
Maybe he wears a sleeve on his arm after. Come on, you never know. That's gimmick and anyways, Daniel Spencer, the best referee there is in the wrestling world. Hire him. Anybody, Impact, you got a very good person. Forget about referee. Person, a great person there. Daniel, tell everybody how they could get a hold of you.
Well, you can get me on the social media, the Twitter and the Instagram at Daniel Spencer. Easily accessible there. You can my DMs are open, so you can, if you want to book me for anything, you can obviously send information that way. But that's pretty much the best way. Just and then I do have a referee like plays referee Daniel Spencer on Facebook. You can like it, and I do messages through that too as well. But that's it. And then you can always keep up with what I'm doing. I constantly make different posts from time to time
I
throughout the
just thought of something.
yeah.
If you, I think you are the shooter because your show, you had a show here on Barn Burner TV Network. What makes you tick? Tick
Yeah.
tock. I solved the problem. Tick tock. What makes you tick? Boom. That's Daniel Spencer on the wrestling show here. The best referee. Check him out. Impact Wrestling OVW. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Hey, and by the way, real quick, you're welcome. And Impact TV is not on Access TV, but in Canada, it's on the Fight Network. So check that out in Canada. And you can always get it on Twitch as well every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. And then OVW, you can catch OVW on Zingo as well as the Roku app and on YouTube America. You can watch that on Friday nights at, I believe it's midnight or 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. Sorry. And then of course it airs throughout the weekend and all in the different areas. So yeah, check those out as well.
All right, that's Daniel Spencer, the best referee. And by the way, Daniel, I know you shot him. Good luck with your Halloween outfit, okay? Good luck with that. Okay.
Look, I did not shoot Bravo. I promise you. I have an alibi. I was in production. I was lit up like this.
That's an alibi. All right. Stay tuned for the flagship show of the Barn Burner TV Network, Barn Burner Live, here in a few minutes. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Thanks. Have a good one. Thank you.